All right. I want to share with you something about the Episcopal Church in the United States. So recently, they've put together a program for churches and church members, clergy and lay alike, to learn about how to stand with trans people, how to be an ally, how to protect trans people. They had something like 400 people show up to their first Zoom session on this. It's amazing. It's great work. I'm thrilled that they're doing this. I hope that we here in Canada follow suit. Not because, we've got to do it or else, but because let's be prepared. And not for nothing, but I think that kind of education, that kind of training applies. It applies across the board to people who are vulnerable. And that's who the church is supposed to be there for. Now, with that in mind, the Episcopal Church, I think, in response to something that fella from Florida, said back in December, actually, and it completely evaded my radar until our friend Teresa pointed it out to me. But he said that he was going to get rid of a current policy that keeps ICE, the immigration agency, keeps ICE from going into schools and rounding people up, or going into churches and rounding people up. So it's not that it's something that they can't do. It's not illegal for them to do it. They can, but there is a policy that has been in place for a while now. I think Trump might have helped put it in place, but Biden expanded upon it. And now you have to get very special permission before you go into a wedding or a funeral or a church service or a school or a university or a seminary or something like that to do. ICE has to get very special permission before they can go in and round people up. And Trump promised back in December, on day one, he was going to get rid of that policy so that ICE could indeed go into a school or into mass or into a funeral or into a Eucharistic service or into a wedding or into a prayer vigil or into a time of meditation and round people up. Round up undocumented migrants and immigrants. The Episcopal Church has said, yeah, we don't think so. And I love this. Just recently, they said that, let me just read it to you. What they said was, the headline is, Episcopalians commit to protecting immigrants as incoming Trump administration eyes crackdowns. All of us, Bishop Susan Brown Snook of San Diego, said, all of us living along the U.S.-Mexico border are deeply concerned and passionate about how to care for our neighbors. And we're deeply concerned about anything that might not be recognized that every person is created in God's image and deserves to have their human dignity respected. In December, Snook signed a joint statement with several other bishops from other faith jurisdictions, as immigration and migration are driven by complex factors, the letter said, oftentimes resulting in life or death situations. The rights of those fleeing disaster, hunger, conflict, violence, or war are urgent and compelling. Therefore, grounded by the demands of the gospel of Jesus Christ and love of our neighbors, our deeply held religious beliefs, we urge our elected officials and community leaders to stand with us to protect family, unity, and human dignity by refusing to participate in any deportation efforts which violate those most basic human rights. Now, the bishops of New York, I believe the Bishop of Chicago, they've declared that they are working as sanctuary diocese in the United States, very similar to the sanctuary city. And sanctuary theology, it was really cool because this article that I'm quoting to you from, and I'll include it in the comments when I release this video. But this article, it led me to look at something called sanctuary theology, and it's something that's been around for years and years and years. It got very large in the 80s. It got very large in the 80s when sort of immigrants were being demonized quite frequently and fervently, and the idea of the church has a responsibility to offer sanctuary to those who are in a time of trouble and sorrow and need. The Bishop of New York, Matthew Haid, I think is how you pronounce his name, he said, "By declaring ourselves a sanctuary diocese, we are affirming what we already know, that we are committed to supporting our local communities. We provide care for everyone. This support does not depend on any person's immigration status, but on the inherent dignity of every human being. Everyone is made in the image of God." Now, I'm not going to lie to you, they don't give a whole lot of ideas as to how to resolve the problem. They don't really get into any details about what you should do. How would you go about this? As a layperson in an Episcopalian church, how would you go about this? As the pastor of an Episcopalian church, the rector, what do they call them in the States? Whatever they call them in the States, vicar, whatever. How would you, as the priest of a parish, an Episcopal parish in the United States, how would you go about doing that? Well, really what they offer here is that this week, the Episcopal Migration Caucus is calling on Episcopalians, quote unquote, calling on Episcopalians to partake in the caucus's Migration with Dignity Action Week, January 20th through 26th. During this week, Episcopalians, congregations, and Episcopal affiliated organizations are encouraged to participate in prayer vigils, protests at federal detention facilities, and in donation drives, education events, and fundraisers. Further action is also strongly encouraged beyond January 26th. So today we should be praying. We should be in prayer for this week of migration recognition, and we should be praying for migrants and immigrants, whether they're documented or undocumented. We should be praying for the newcomers who come to our community. We should be praying for their safety. We should be praying for their security. We should be praying thanks for everything that they bring to us, everything that they offer us, all their perspectives and the lens in which they see the world. Let's not even get into the food that they bring to us, the recipes. I love living in Halifax here, simply because of its diversity. It's so amazing, and I like food. And I guess food plays maybe too important a role in my love for diversity, but there it is. The people are amazing. The people are absolutely amazing. So we should be praying. We can do that. We can pray together. Yeah. There's one more quote from this article that I want to share with you. We implore all Episcopalians to take action now to prepare and protect immigrant families and communities. This is what the Episcopal Migration Caucus released in December 16th. Again, probably in response, though they never said it, probably in response to what Donald Trump said about how he was going to get rid of the policy that kept ICE from barging into places of worship during times of worship to round up people and to, I guess, inspect paperwork. The caucus goes on. We are concerned for all those who will be more vulnerable to harm, especially children in constant fear of separation from loved ones, deportation, and imprisonment. can I share with you the thing about this direction that I love the most? They're leaving it up to you and I to figure it out. What I see in these letters, I see these bishops. I see these bishops saying, this is what we're going to be. We're going to consider ourselves a sanctuary diocese. That means every parish within that diocese has been given a green light to stand in opposition, has been given a green light to protest. It has been given a green light to possibly defy the law for the sake of their neighbors, for the sake of God's children, for the sake of the newcomers to their community. The people who wrote this letter to encourage community leaders to stand up with them, they are in effect giving the people in their charge, the parishes that they are responsible for within each of their dioceses, within each of their affiliated organizations, to say, yes, you can stand up. You can stand up and you can live in defiance. You can be in defiance of even in defiance of the law, of those governing authorities, because this is not lawful in the eyes of Jesus Christ. This caucus reaching out to Episcopalians all over the United States. And indeed, I would say reaching out to Anglicans all over the world, saying, this is what we're going to do. And we encourage you to participate. We encourage you to pray. We encourage you to protest. We encourage you to take whatever actions you need to take to stand up for your neighbors. I love this. They're encouraging people. They're encouraging their people. They're encouraging, again, lay and clergy alike. Good trouble's a good thing. I don't necessarily know how to do the work that is going to be needed in your community. I don't know how to do the work that's going to be needed in your context, but these bishops are saying, you do, and we trust you. We trust you and we encourage you. We encourage you that should you need to get in good trouble, we got your back. It's a good thing. God bless them. Congratulations to them. I pray all leaders would be willing to be so bold and courageous, that all leaders would be willing to give the people they lead the green light to do what is needed to protect those vulnerable people within their communities. Amen.